Just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
You may think money problems are just impossible to fix. Get sound advice with Dave Ramsey 1 to 4 weekdays, followed by certified financial planner Jason Qualls at 4. We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, Bill Krause on a Thursday morning, a beautiful Thursday morning, cold Thursday morning, as we all get anticipating next week for Thanksgiving, turkey time, etc. We are very, very pleased to have with us a friend, certainly a great leader of Rutherford County, Mayor of the city of Laverne, Mr. Jason Cole. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. And what greetings do you bring from the beautiful city of Laverne?
Well, Laverne, just like the rest of Rutherford County, is doing well, prospering, growing, a lot of growth. As we say, the North is on fire with growth, and lots of good things are coming.
And you're handling traffic with that growth?
Traffic, we're addressing it. We've got a big infrastructure project about to start, and of course we're ready for people to be upset about it while it's going on, but this upcoming year we will begin construction on Blair West, which will connect Waldron and Blair Road through some open woods right now, connected in with the Ridge, with Hamlet at the Carruthers, and set up a new roundabout at Carruthers. And so that will tie in Davidson County side as well, and so it'll make for an easier way to access and take some traffic off of Waldron Road that may be trying to cut through in the mornings over to Nolensville, Cool Springs, Nashville area.
And I hit that road every day when I'm either coming to Murfreesboro or Smyrna, and literally you do have a significant amount of truck traffic because of the warehousing and industrial development. Works very well. I will commend Laverne, not like a number of other unmentioned cities, that your traffic signal coordination is excellent. You know, and people don't realize that the coordination of traffic signal and the timing of signalization plays a key role in traffic movement.
Well, that goes a lot to our engineering department.
Yes.
And it's something that we almost constantly tweak. We look at, we adjust, we make sure the loops work, and we still have some opportunities for improvement. There's two major intersections that I'm hoping to see some improvement on, but it's constant work in progress, and it will continue to be as Middle Tennessee continues to grow.
Sure. And you just came back from Tampa. Tell us about the conference in Tampa.
I was down last week at the National League of Cities City Summit, and you get elected officials, mayors, council members from all across the United States who come together, and we share best practices, best ideas. We don't have to reinvent the wheel with a lot of this stuff, and other people have already gone through it and figured things out. So we all get together and we have conversations, whether it's discussions about the climate, about infrastructure, grants, all of that is going on. I sat down with a council member who is right outside of Atlanta, and so they're trying to figure out how to improve the look and feel for new businesses. They're getting a lot of fast food, and I simply said, "Have you considered an overlay?" And he just looked at me,
What's an overlay?
And so he's now taking that back to their council to see what they can do with their state law, because they're in the same situation or a similar situation we are in. We're right up against Nashville. They're right up against Atlanta. So
very similar, suburban to a large metropolitan community.
Yes.
Absolutely. What would you say are the 3 significant accomplishments that you can look back this last year as we close out 2024.
Whew, well,
You can go more than 3. No limit.
well, we're very excited about Uptown Laverne coming in.
And what is Uptown Laverne?
Uptown Laverne is on Murfreesboro Road. It's a long open stretch of just land, and it is already slated and announced is Aldi's, Panda Express, and Chipotle are all coming in. But we have a few other businesses that aren't ready to announce that are coming in with it. And so that's always, we want to see more and more increases on our retail because it's a quality of life improvement. Our residents can stay within the city. It's going to benefit the city in that those sales tax dollars won't go to Antioch or Smyrna's, Aldi's. It'll stay in the city and support our police, fire, and roads. So that's a huge accomplishment. Our Industrial Development Board recently purchased 77 acres of land, and we'll be working on economic development for that. So that's a big accomplishment for the city. We've not ever done that before. We're always kind of held prisoner that whoever owns the land determines what they're going to bring into it, as long as it's zoned correctly. Well, now that we control the land, we have a say in that.
Absolutely. And more and more cities like Laverne and Smyrna and Murfreesboro, of course, throughout Rutherford County, become destination communities rather than feeding into the larger metropolitan area of Nashville-Davidson.
Yes.
So people, not only residents, can do all of their shopping, their dining out, etc., right within their own community. It even draws from neighboring communities. I was trying to think as you were talking about the restaurants, Chipotle and Panda Express are both good, but I don't know if I would be eating them at the same time. Might be kind of a bad mixture.
Maybe lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner, yes. Talk about your professional life. I find that very interesting in terms of what you do when you're not mayor of Laverne.
Well, I've worked in healthcare for over 20 years now. And so I started off working in diabetic supplies. I shifted over to pharmacy and helping customers get their medications, their diabetic supplies. After the federal government kind of destroyed the entire diabetic supply business through competitive bidding, most of that industry went overseas. I've shifted over and have been working in renal dialysis. And so I've worked for 2 separate companies, and it's helping people to get the care that they need, because with dialysis, it's not a want, it's a need. You have
it's
to
not
do
negotiable.
it. Yes, and so so I work part of our corporate office and assist people with getting everything entered in correctly so that all their billing for their dialysis is taken care of through their medical coverage.
And I would assume, based upon the medical needs and a population growth, that this is an ever-increasing demand.
Yes, dialysis. It's growing across the nation, and so hopefully, whether it's through diet, through the food we eat, they can figure out what's increasing that and hopefully address it.
And we live longer, so as we live longer, we have more potential of experiencing diseases.
Yes.
Do you see, without getting too involved in the politic of the election a couple of weeks ago, do you see significant changes in the horizon on healthcare funding, healthcare reimbursements with the new administration?
I don't really see that changing a whole lot. I am concerned with some of the changes with Medicare and how that's going to impact recipients that have occurred under the current administration, and how the next administration is going to handle that. That's going to be interesting, but we're just our big priority for Laverne is trying to sit down both with our state and our federal reps. We're sitting down with our state reps here in just a couple of weeks, and we're going to discuss with them ways that we can work together and benefit our residents.
Absolutely. Was there much, I'm assuming there was much discussion at Tampa about the new administration and changes?
There is, and everyone's kind of holding their breath to see what's going to happen, who's going to get confirmed, and where the administration is going to go with funding and spending, and how that's going to impact communities.
Absolutely. You have a new police chief. We had the pleasure of having him on recently on the Roundtable. Is he getting very comfortable in the new job?
Well, I wouldn't say comfortable.
Okay.
That man is always on the go, always running. In fact, he stepped out from our employees' Thanksgiving dinner to call a resident and have a conversation with her about some concerns that she has. So he is constantly working and on the go. I'm going to say we probably have some of the highest morale and some of the highest staffing levels that we've had in a decade or more. He's doing a phenomenal job. Currently we're working on some proposals for a new police station. And then, of course, we opened just a little while ago, just a few months back, our new fire station 41.
And where's that located?
It's on Old Nashville Highway.
Okay.
I would say, and this is no knock to any other fire departments in the area, but it's probably the finest fire station in all of Rutherford County. It is, we did the uncoupling of the hose instead of a ribbon cutting.
That's fantastic.
And it is what we've needed. It was started and planned under our first fire chief, Ricky McCormick, who passed away a few years back. And it's been a labor of love carrying on through the various fire chiefs. And it's for me, it's probably one of the most rewarding things to see something go from a concept, an idea, a thought, to we're walking through the building.
Did you have to buy new equipment to be housed there?
We didn't have to buy any new engines for it, but we had to. I mean, it's a completely new facility. It's got training rooms. It's got men and women bathrooms, which our original station built in '73 did not.
Wow!
Because firefighting was just at that point just a male-dominated industry.
Sure.
But we have men and women firefighters, so they have been they're very happy about that. A huge kitchen, workout room, and we've got bays enough for all of our equipment. So and it puts it for us on the other side of the train tracks, so to say.
So you're not going to be blocked.
Yes.
Sure. Going back to police chief, I remember him giving his background that he initially was going to become a priest. And he was going through seminary, and I said he brings the rare combination of initially being a priest and subsequently being a police officer, and they have one thing in common. They both hear confessions.
Oh, yes.
It's what they do with the confessions suddenly takes a different route.
That stood out during the whole interview process. It was I sat in on the forum with the police officers and all of the candidates, and that stood out.
Yes.
So
it's a spiritual drive that he has,
yes,
which is wonderful. Talk about your colleagues on the city council. Kind of introduce each one, and you may even want to say a little something, all positive, of course, about them.
Well, we got our newly reelected Vice Mayor, Steve Noe. Steve Noe is a former truck driver, and he is a man of the community.
And he's in the know?
He is in the know.
Good.
And he's got such a big heart for this community. It's just truly amazing. We've got Alderwoman Carol Haas, who she is a veteran. She's also worked in the medical field. She retired from Vanderbilt. Again, she's such a big heart for giving back to the community. You see her at whether it's city events or just helping out seniors or neighbors. She's there, and very big marathon enthusiast as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. You've got Alderwoman Kara Hobbs. She, interestingly enough, another one in the medical field.
You've got a first aid city council.
Yes. Between the three, between Alderwoman Haas, Hobbs, and myself, we can arrange for an appointment, treat you, and do the medical billing.
Wow! All in one stop.
But she is she's one of our newer board members to city government, and she's doing a phenomenal job. She's advocating for residents, and she's bringing a different perspective to the board, which is what we want. We want everyone to agree that we want to see the city move forward and prosper, but how we get there, we need to have a diversity of ideas. So
Absolutely.
so that's good. She pushes back on things whenever they need to be pushed back on, or when we need differing ideas. And then we have Alderman Coates, who just was reelected. He had lost the previous race by 3 votes.
Wow.
And
Tells you every vote counts.
This man is a businessman. His mind works overtime. He has volunteered in the community for over 20 years.
Wow.
Served on Planning Commission, BOZA, Economic Development. He has been all over and bringing his wealth of knowledge back into the city.
Great.
On the board will absolutely be valued, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Excellent. So, and it's funny, your names aren't going to be confused, are they? Last names, Codes, and Cole.
Well, thankfully, the only ones we struggle with is we have Alderwoman Haas and Hobbs sitting right next to each other, and it's Kara and Carol.
Oh.
And so there is every once in a while a misspeak there, but I for transparency, and so everyone knows the kind of the order, I always kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and I keep the same order. So even if I say the wrong thing, they pretty much know who is being called on.
Do you want to also at this point acknowledge your wonderful staff? You've got a great staff of men and women working for the city.
We do, and it's over 200 staff members at this point. And,
all full-time, or does that include part-time?
Well, we have some part-timers, but it is whether they're working streets, sewers, stormwater, economic development. My economic team is actually in Indiana right now working. They missed our Thanksgiving luncheon. You've got Bruce and Kyle, who are city administrators, who are designing the future forward. HR, which is completely revolutionized how our HR department has been. They are just doing a phenomenal job. Police, fire, everybody's working on improving the overall safety for our community.
Great. We'll be right back with Mayor Jason Cole. I better call you 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Mayor Jason Cole, City of Laverne, who is sharing with us the city family, the community of Laverne, and the future of Laverne.
This holiday season, let's make it magical with First Shot Foundation's Christmas for the Kids. Help bring Christmas joy to Rutherford County kids who need it most. Your support helps provide toys, warm clothing, and a reason to smile. Several local leaders have offered to match funds for the first $10,000 raised, so every dollar you give means $2 for local kids. You can be the reason a child's eyes light up with excitement this Christmas. Go to First Shot Foundation on Facebook to find out how to give. That's First Shot Foundation on Facebook.
All right, guys, it's Scott. If you're feeling tired, lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out now. At Low T Center here in Murfreesboro on Medical Center Parkway, they make it easy to get your levels checked. And with their on-site lab, you'll get those results back in about 25 minutes. Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office. Their physicians specialize in treating low testosterone with customized therapy, or TRT, for each patient. The experts at Low T Center have over a decade of experience helping patients achieve life-changing results. And most health insurance is accepted for treatment. For established patients with stable T levels, they also offer a convenient physician-monitored self-inject treatment plan that ships directly to your home each month without the need to come into the office for weekly visits. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. Yep, you can lose weight. Get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests, bees, buzzing rodents running all through my house. Ants chewing wood, and look, there's a mouse. I've overrun with pests, but you're gonna be sure, safe and secure. It's the last rites for those pests. Call the best of the best to get rid of your pests.
893-7111. AmeriCare Services Incorporated. Call us today. 893-7111.
Now, WGNS Good Neighbor Events. Oh, it's time to enter the Christmas parade. The parade is Sunday afternoon, December the 8th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this year's theme, a vintage Christmas. You need to register before December 1st. Get in touch with Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department. The Laverne Toy Store is collecting toys. You can drop off toys at the Laverne City Hall, the police department there, the library, or Fire Hall 41. Donations of toys in Laverne will be accepted through December the 11th. Don't forget the Art Studio Tour is this weekend. Go to artstudiotour.org for all the locations. And Boy Scout Troop 197 starts selling Christmas trees this Sunday at Fellowship United Methodist Church. Don't throw away Old Glory. Bring your tattered American flag to WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
We'll see sunny skies here for this afternoon, a high around 50 degrees. For tonight, increasing clouds, a low near 35. Friday, partial sunshine, high around 50 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 42.
We're powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Get in the holiday spirit in downtown Murfreesboro at the annual tree lighting powered by MTE. It's Friday, December 6th, 5 to 8 p.m. Enjoy caroling, visit Santa, and the magic of the tree lighting. Downtown Murfreesboro, December 6th.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
This is Bill Krause again on the WGNS Radio Roundtable, and we're having this morning a delightful and highly informative visit with the mayor of the city of Laverne, Jason Cole. Jason, welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Hello. You were talking about the city family, about 200 people. Any more you'd like to acknowledge, and including individuals in the community that volunteer for commissions and support services for the city council?
Well, it's so hard to hit on everybody.
Sure.
Our staff does a phenomenal job. For the community, I have to acknowledge one of our local real estate professionals. Her name's Jamie Knight, and she is heavy in this community, both in Laverne and in Middle Tennessee, and whether it's time, money, connections, even just advice, she steps up and she brings it. So she is a major player in our community. And then someone who just recently, well, it's not someone, but it's a business that just recently stepped up. We're getting ready for our, it's the holiday season, so we do a big food giveaway program. It's a big food drive that happens tomorrow, but we also do a toy store. It's called the Last Minute Toy Store for those families that need help.
Yes.
And so Republic, I've gotten word, will be donating $1,000 worth of toys, and so that's huge, and those families will definitely appreciate it, and myself and our board, we appreciate that, because that's giving back to the community, and that's helping those families that may not have the means to provide that.
And it gets to be a very sad holiday when you see the eyes of children saying, Santa Claus doesn't know where Laverne is.
Yes,
and you want to be sure. And so Republic is bringing a trash sleigh.
No, I would expect some kind of truck, but they just got word to me yesterday about it. So we're have some pictures coming out whenever they bring that down. We're very happy.
Talk about what's coming up Christmas. You have a parade.
Well, we start off before the parade with our ice skating rink. Ooh, and so that opens up December 6th, and it runs all the way to January 3rd. And so it is free. We don't charge for skate rental. Are
you going to be on skates, Jason?
At some point, yes.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yes. You know, what you really want to wait for is our vice mayor, Steve No, and Alderman Coates. They put on all of the spandex, and they do a
Wow.
whole show on ice. So
and the city covers them with insurance.
I would hope and pray so.
Yes.
But we do a couple of reserve nights, like the 22nd for families with special needs. We have a lot of fun with that, and the overall time. I mean, the community gets to come out and experience ice skating, and it's completely free. And that's at Veterans Memorial Park. We then also have on December 7th. We have the Parade of Lights, which is an evening parade, goes from Bicentennial Park down Murfreesboro Road all the way to Veterans Memorial Park. And you see lights, you see horses, you see all kinds of lit up things. Santa will be
Santa
there.
Claus, yep.
Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there.
All right.
That all ends at Veterans Memorial Park and kicks off our Winterfest that night.
Okay.
We have singers from Laverne High School. We have some craft vendors. Of course, the ice skating rink is open. We will have tree lighting ceremony, and we have fireworks.
Fireworks in December. That's great.
Yes.
Great.
And so it's a fun time for families, and so everyone can get together, have fun, and celebrate, and again build our community. That's what we're about, is bringing the community together at these events and building our community.
Well, it's actually a commitment to community. When you figure, as you were describing earlier, the volunteerism of the community, the amount of hours, if you try to put a dollar figure on the men and women that contribute their time as volunteers on commissions and boards and activities like parades and holiday events and so forth, you couldn't even put a dollar sign on it.
No, because they're bringing not just their time, their expertise, their opinions, and they are standing up as leaders even in their own little areas. We've got one of our planning commission members who everyone in his neighborhood knows to go and talk to him about any new developments and what they want to see.
Wow.
So we're building more and more leaders, and so that's what we need in our community and around the world.
How do you motivate, and I do a lot of American government teaching both at Motlow and Columbia State, and I have young men and young women. In fact, I have a number of students in dual enrollment at Laverne High School who live in Laverne, and how do I motivate them to take a look at the role of government, not necessarily just as an elected official, as an appointed official, as a volunteer? How do I create the love and purpose of serving?
Well, that's interesting. I was just talking about this with the club Interact at Laverne High School.
Okay.
And so it's service before self. And this is their community. This is our residents' community. This isn't Jason's community, or this isn't Mayor Cole's community to just rule over. This is our community. This is everyone's community, and we all want to see it do better.
Exactly.
And so and this is kind of what got me into politics, is if I've got enough energy to say something about it, I've got enough energy to do something about it. And that's what these people who are volunteering in our community, that's what they do. And so it's spurring it on with that next generation.
I would imagine that you would say, because I certainly said for many years as a city manager, if you have a complaint, have a proposed solution.
That's right.
And, if you have a complaint, you vote. I don't know if it's still operational in many city council meetings, but you'd see a number of council members at a council meeting with their laptops on the desk, and a person would come to speak to complain, and I could suddenly see fingers hitting the keyboard to see whether they are current voters that they're registered to vote in the community.
Well, I can say I've looked up people in the past, but for me, whenever anyone is at our meetings speaking to us, I don't care what's on the iPad in front of me. The iPad no longer matters. It's their time. They get to be heard, and that's a respect thing. I want them to respect me. I have to give them respect, and so they get my undivided attention for their time to speak.
Sure.
And that's regardless of whether they vote or not. I usually don't have any of that information right there, but it's their opportunity, and so it's the very least I can do is to be an active listener.
Sure. Talk about the proposed annexation of Laverne High School.
Well, the annex has been something that we've been vocal about in Laverne, and we're still not done, so to say. But we've worked well with our school board members like Katie Darby and Tammy Sharp, who have been very big advocates for this annex. Have been working with our county commissioners, whether it's Hope Oliver, Laura Davidson, Phil Wilson. Had some great conversations with Wayne Irvin, Paul Johnson, and this got out of the health and ed, went through finance and budgeting, unanimous approval there. I believe every commissioner who was at the recent county commission meeting voted for this. There was nobody voting against it. I believe there's one abstention and one person who wasn't there. That's it. And so this is desperately needed. Laverne High School is already over capacity. We've got teachers on rolling carts. And they don't have their own classroom. They're going from open classroom, and will teach their students there. That's not acceptable to me.
I agree.
And so at the same time, this is just a Band-Aid, though. This is going to add 500 new seats. It's not adding new auditoriums, new roofs, a courtyard like the other annexes. This is all about teaching space for our teachers and students.
Hardcore classrooms.
But it is a Band-Aid. We desperately need another high school in the north. That is needed. There was one proposed for the campus where Laverne Middle and Laverne Lake Elementary are, and that never came to fruition. There is some land still out there. It's going to take some work to get it, but we desperately need another school in the Laverne area because we can't keep packing kids into schools. I mean, we've got 2 high schools that service Laverne. You've got Stewart's Creek High School and Laverne High School. Both are over capacity. That's a problem for me. The middle schools are over capacity. We need to get aggressive, and I know no one wants to hear that because ultimately what will happen is, they wind up, the county commission winds up raising property taxes to pay for this because none of it's cheap. And but we have to put in the effort for these children. We can't have just 40 and 50 student classes. That's just unacceptable.
Absolutely.
We will eventually wind up running the ire of the state. So we need to find a way, working together. It needs to be a combination: the state, the federal government, this county, the school board, the cities. We need to find a way to get this taken care of so that we can get these students properly educated. We can raise the standards and set new standards. That's what the goal should be. Whatever the standard is, we want to set a newer, higher standard for our students.
Well, even on something like that, the recruitment and retention of teachers to fill those classrooms is dependent to a great degree on the working conditions of that classroom.
Yes.
And if a new teacher is looking at a 30, 35, maybe even a 40 student capacity and filling that capacity in the school, they'll say, gee, that's awfully difficult for me to be an excellent teacher.
Yes. If you make the environment, both the teaching, the pay, and the benefits, you again, setting that standard higher than what's around, what happens is the best and brightest will want to flock here. And yes, it will cause competition because other areas will have to either match or go better. But that benefits our teachers, and we want the best.
Absolutely.
So that's what we need to focus on.
Well, where this also creates more than a curiosity, a significant concern. Before we were on the air, you were talking about the numbers of new homes that are anticipated within the overall Laverne, Smyrna, Antioch area. You mentioned the figure 11,000.
Yes, if you go out 3 miles from the intersection of Blair and Waldron, there's roughly 11,000 homes being built.
Which direction are you looking at?
It's just a circle.
So it isn't just west.
No, it's if you just go a circle 3 miles out in all directions, you're covering Nolensville, you're covering Cane Ridge, you're covering Smyrna, part of the county, the city of Laverne, and we are rapidly addressing that. We've got a plan to widen Waldron Road on that side of town from the interstate to Lake Road to 5 lanes. We've got from Lake Road to the border with Smyrna going out to 3 lanes. We've got a new Blair West extension that will begin work next year and should be wrapped up by the end of the year. That will connect over to Davidson County and relieve some traffic off of Waldron. So you have a lot of opportunity there and a lot of growth. And so I'm hearing part of the Arbor Ridge development will be coming back through soon. They're going to change some of their regular housing into senior housing, and if they do that, that requires a little bit of a zoning change. It's not huge, but that would help with the school overcrowding because you would have less children and
slower drivers.
hopefully,
Yes.
you'd be surprised sometimes.
Yes.
So, but we just ultimately what we're looking for in Laverne is trying to build a better community as a whole.
What triggered you off initially to get involved in public service? Actually, I know when you were with us before, you shared your background, but born where, schooled where, and I know you previously mentioned your health care, 20-year professional growth, but you were born, raised where, and what actually triggered you off to say, I better get involved rather than not be involved?
So I was born and raised in Nashville.
Okay.
So I'm one of the few natives. Once I leave here, I have to go to the zoo. They put me back in my cage, and people can look at me and go, ooh, ah, because natives are rare. I grew up out in Bellevue, Belmead area. Went to Hillwood, went to Nashville State Community College. Met the love of my life during a trip to Opryland. We eventually dated and got married after she moved to Tennessee. And realistically, I never thought I'd get into government because I hated government class.
Wow.
My 20-year high school reunion, people were asking me, "Didn't you hate government?" I'm like,
Yes.
Absolutely. And they're like, "What changed?" Not a whole lot.
Have you been in contact or been able to contact your teacher?
I talked to some of my teachers.
Government teacher.
Oh,
and say,
no,
look at what you did.
No, I have not talked to him in many decades.
20 years, yep.
But, I would show up to our local city council meetings, and they had some volunteer opportunities with some, like with Parks and Recreation, so I started doing that. And I saw what was going on with the administration, and I wasn't liking where the city was going. It was, in my opinion, it was being stagnant. So, again, if you got enough energy to complain about it,
sure,
you've got enough energy to do something.
Help solve it.
So I ran. I came in third. There was an open position, and at that time, the new mayor decided to go with the 5th place finisher. Well, that galvanized the public behind me because they felt like their voice, it should be the third person. So I ran 2 years later, won that race. We got to the point of the mayoral election, and no one was going to run for office. The people who I was looking at as mentors, I was thinking they were going to run, and no one was. So
your mayoralty is a separate rather than selection of the council.
Correct. And so, so no one was going to run. So I'm like, well, again, I don't like the direction we're going. If no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I got into a race. I won. Became the first mayor to get reelected in probably the last almost 20 years. And so we're trying to push forward as a Laverne that's built for everybody and is improving and taking steps forward. Will I solve every problem for the city?
Sure.
Absolutely not.
Sure.
But can we set the city up for success so that even beyond me being mayor, other mayors can take this ball and run with it and be successful for the betterment of all of our residents? That's what we want.
You've been mayor how long?
Been mayor for 6 years now.
6 years, and your re-election's in 2 years?
Yes, sir, and I'll be glad to state it publicly. I will be running for re-election.
All right, well, we got that on WGNS News, and you heard it. Maybe you didn't hear it first, but you heard it loudly and clearly. What are some of the strategies for running for re-election or election? How do you basically well, first of all, your population's about in the early 30,000s right now?
42,000.
Oh, you're up to 42. And roughly how many registered voters?
About 17 to 18,000.
And your local elections are separate or consolidated?
They are with the November elections.
Oh, do you find that an advantage or disadvantage?
It's neither, because regardless of whether there's a partisan election going on or not, my role as mayor is to serve all of the citizens. You can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, you can be an independent. My job here is to serve the residents.
Everyone, sure.
And so we don't. Our issues aren't partisan. Ours are road paving, new businesses, new standards.
When you say road paving, just potholes.
Yes.
You get a pothole on a particular street and it's not immediately solved. People's front ends get out of line, blow a tire, and what have you. That becomes very local. And just to reconfirm that local elections are nonpartisan. You don't run as a Republican or Democrat.
Correct. And the biggest thing is you've got to stay in touch with your community.
Exactly.
And that's regardless of whether it's social media or in public. My wife laughs. It takes me an hour or two to go grocery shopping.
People see you and recognize you.
I talk to people, yes, and that's my role, is to be available to people, and so that's what I do. And we have fun with it. If my son is with me, I always mention that he's a young eligible bachelor, and at 13 he's like, Dad, stop.
But 13, absolutely.
It's just it's being out there, it's being transparent, open with the community, and letting them know what's going on, talking with them, making sure that they don't just feel heard, that they are heard.
And follow-up is so important.
Yes.
We'll be right back. We're having a delightful Thursday morning visit with the mayor of the city of Laverne, Jason Cole, who brings with this visit great insight, great experience, great potential, and most importantly, a great commitment to public excellence. We'll be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-488-2594.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-488-2594. That's 800-488-2594.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Efficient 3-bedroom, 3-bath home located in the highly sought-after Black Fox Crossing neighborhood. Enjoy the convenience of 2 primary suites and a 2-car garage. Recent updates include new flooring in the living areas and bedrooms, as well as fresh paint throughout. This home comes fully equipped with appliances, including a washer-dryer and an extra fridge in the garage. For more information, call Chip Walters at Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, 615-542-1915.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old premises.
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
This is Bill Krause in our final segment of the WGNS Radio Roundtable. Beautiful Thursday morning edition. And most hopefully you're enjoying, like I am, a wonderful conversation with the mayor of the city of Laverne, Jason Cole. Jason, they ever call you King?
No.
Never called you King Cole?
No. That's my father. He's old King Cole.
Oh, okay, and you're not young King Cole. What are some of the strategies you're going to use to, because your campaign is, the election cycle now for 2026 is already beginning.
It started the day after the presidentials.
Exactly,
So.
Especially the people who run for 2-year office, state and federal Congress and so forth, that the morning after the results, they're on the phone setting up the subsequent election.
I do not envy our state representatives who essentially have to be constantly campaigning.
And raising money.
I really wish that as a state we'd shift over our state senators to a 6-year term, put the state house on a 4-year term, and give them some room to breathe and be, our representatives for Laverne have been great. They've been working with us for a number of years and been very responsive. But that would give them a break from constant election cycle.
Absolutely.
But it's for us. I mean, it's not reinventing the wheel. We already do community meetups. We are. I'm at just about every event there is, and it's really listening and engaging with people and trying to work together. That's the biggest thing
key.
is to keep the city moving forward and address whatever we can. And so it's doing that. It's not brain surgery.
Nope.
It's just listening, responding, and trying to balance the needs of the citizens with the needs of the city and go, because while you would think those would all be in alignment, there's sometimes where, hey, having this commercial venture here would benefit the city, but residents may not like it. So trying to figure that out and figure out what's best for the overall and for the future.
I'm going to ask you a very sensitive question. I always ask elected officials. In fact, I've asked elected officials the same question for years. Let's suppose you're in a highly, highly, highly bitter, controversial, if not a campaign, a major issue, and the opposition starts a hate campaign against you. I mean, and there are some hate campaigns and local elections. I'm not so sure in mid-Tennessee. I do remember them so well in Southern California. I mean, really hate. You have big shoulders. Your wife may be very supportive. How do you protect a child whose father or mother, in the case of an elected official, are coming under such personal hate for being involved in the political process? And you have a 13-year-old son, and if he goes to school and suddenly other students are saying this is what their parents saw on a overnight drop of information at front doors of everybody's house and so forth, that I thoroughly spend time encouraging young men and young women to get involved in the political process. And there's so much, and I think we've heard Mayor Cole talk about many, many, many of the service advantages and what have you. But that's the question, and even you go up to the presidential, you go up to senatorial, you go up to gubernatorial, how do you protect a child who is very impressive and a child who is very receiving issues from this type of activity?
Well, when I ran for mayor, both my children, because I have a daughter who's 15 months younger than my son, so she's 12,
okay.
He's 13.
Mm-hmm.
They both go to middle school now, but they were both in elementary school when I ran for mayor, and there were robocalls out calling me a criminal.
Oh.
And it's all because I have a misdemeanor from when I was 21. It's out of Nashville. It's a speeding ticket. Wow. And just gotten a brand new Mustang and got a speeding ticket at 21. Can you imagine the controversy? And so, you know, they could hear that. And it's just, we talked to our kids during this last election. I had people who were supporting my opponent calling my job. And
I mean, you get to things like that.
That's my livelihood for my family.
The bitterness and the anger.
Disagree politically, but we don't have to get to that. I don't go that route. I mean, for me, I've run on what I've done and what I want to do.
Exactly.
And that's how it should be. But the easiest tactic for people to take is to tear somebody down.
Sure.
That's not how we operate, and at least for me and my kids, we just sat down and just talked, and they were just like, a speeding ticket? And they didn't understand, you know, about a brand new Mustang yet.
And its power and its...
But, you know, just, you know,
you still had the Mustang?
No, the ice storm a couple of years back got it pretty good. I can remember they said it had missed us. We weren't going to get it, so I headed off to work, and I was on Clovercroft, and they came on the radio and said we were wrong, stay indoors. About that time, I fishtailed and dropped off the embankment. Whenever they...
You weren't injured?
I wasn't injured, but whenever they towed it out, my heart was injured because I could hear them tearing the undercarriage of the car, and it was a total loss. So it's a mixed blessing, though, because that was not the ideal car to have with small children.
Yes.
Or
as a mayor.
Yes.
But see, you could have turned that around, Jason. Could have said you were on the fast track for a political life when you were in Nashville at the age of 21.
Well, that's just it's being kind of young and dumb, and you know, whenever that happened, it was funny because it really turned the political campaign on its head because it didn't hurt me.
No.
Most people were sitting there saying, well, number one, he's not squeaky clean. He's just like us. But if at that point my opponent was saying I'm a criminal because of this, other people were like, well, what's he saying about me because I have this or something similar, and it flipped it on its head.
Or if that's the best they can throw at me, keep throwing.
Yeah.
Let's do a little prediction. You're going to run in 2 years for a 4-year term. What do you see Laverne as in the year 2030? I'm projecting 6 years out as you conclude your third term in 2030 or 2030.
2030. I'm going to say population. We're going to be at or near 50,000.
How much? Do you have any idea of the percentage of vacant land you currently have?
I do not know.
Okay.
But we do have quite a bit of open land.
And do you see the conversion of single family on large pieces of property converting to multi-unit condo development?
I see more single family going in.
Okay.
On undeveloped land. That's what I see going in. We've kind of slowed down on multifamily, and we've got, I think, one coming through right now, but it's more low income housing than it is condos.
Sure.
So, but we're doing more with our updates to our planning and zoning ordinance, our subdivision regs. That's encouraging higher quality development. So we'll see growth coming. I think you're going to see on the west side, you're going to see retail finally coming in, a grocer, some restaurants, possibly some entertainment. And then we're hoping that we will have shovels in the ground, if not completed, for our, we mentioned earlier, Uptown Laverne.
Right.
For downtown Laverne.
Okay.
And so we had a question from the League of Women Voters whenever I first ran, saying, what do you see or envision downtown Laverne? Well, no one really thought of a downtown Laverne, so we're going to build it.
In commercial and mixed use.
Yes.
And residential, etc. Would you say that 50,000 is the ultimate population of Laverne?
No, because whenever, just in all honesty, I've seen it through Nashville. Even when, and Nashville's not finished with open space, but whenever they've finished building out, then what they do is they go back and start building up.
Upward.
And so I can see that happening. We're essentially a suburb of Nashville, so I can see that we're landlocked. We had some areas in Smyrna that wanted to recently de-annex from Smyrna and come to Laverne, but that board denied their requests. I can see there's one very large county parcel that's in our urban growth district that will eventually become part of the city. So you'll see that. But growth, I mean, the economy isn't slowing down.
Exactly. And
So-
I think it's going to increase significantly in the next year to two, no question. Dealing with the state on I-24.
I-24, well, it's the good thing is we have great relationships with Robert Stevens, Shane Reeves, and with Mike Sparks. So it's just working with them on how this new corridor system is going to work. We're kind of disappointed with the SMART corridor because the state invested so much money into it, so much infrastructure, and now it's being tossed to the wayside. And now they're moving with choice lanes. That's going to be interesting to see how that works. But there has to be some type of long-term solution coming because it's not just 24, it's 40, it's 65.
It's the entire system.
They have to come up with something, and I think the big thing is it's not a go it alone. The state needs to incorporate in Nashville and the surrounding municipalities as part of it. And I don't mean just Laverne. I mean all the way down to Murfreesboro. You're looking
Probably
at
further
Franklin,
south if you...
Lebanon.
Sure.
You need to include everybody because this impacts all of us.
Do you see high-speed rail as a potential in the median of the interstate?
It's a possibility, but the costs, I think, could dissuade that. There are some rail lines currently laid. Whether or not they start using those for passenger versus freight, well, it's just waiting to be seen.
That's always a conflict among the rail industry of who has priority, etc. Well, it has been a wonderful opportunity, Mayor Cole, and I would certainly hope that the citizens of Laverne are very, very grateful and appreciative for a young man who brings, in my opinion, as a longtime professional public administrator, brings to the city of Laverne a spirit, a drive, a commitment, and most importantly, a passion for his people. And we salute you, Mayor Cole, and
Thank you, sir.
Keep up the wonderful, wonderful work for the people of Laverne.
Yes, sir.
And a very Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Christmas to you and Happy Thanksgiving as well.
Thank you.